Well, let's see. So, Barb, can we start?
Yeah.
All right. I want to ask you a question, everybody. Why do you do this? Like, Barb, why do you, like, teach people? Why do you show people how to cure things when they don't know? Like, what does it
It's not
feel?
fun to be around people who don't cure things. I
So-
usually do it. I usually actually noticed, I noticed this yesterday, I usually do it when the lack of it is in my way, like when something's in my space that's dysfunctional, or, I like to clear the way or have a more fun experience if people are being negative or limited.
So you mean you're reacting to a perceived problem?
Yeah, like I found, yeah. I mean, and I notice actually if there's no perceived problem, I don't tend to, like, stop and give it,
Well, when you do perceive the problem, can you tell us what that feels like to be looking at this person and see, their need?
Well, sometimes I used to physically feel pain. Like I remember when I used to sweat, like my back would hurt or I would feel jammed up. It feels like, you see that someone's stuck or they're just saying something the wrong way or talking themselves into a little bit of a hole, or that one slight adjustment could change it for them. So I just give them that or tip it, like tell them a word to change or a way to see it that they weren't seeing or something to test on that they could double check that maybe it was just an idea or some disinformation, just like a perspective. I used to do that as a kid too. I realized I was always sort of coaching my friends as a kid.
Funny thing, so was I.
I used to have a whole little gang of people that, I would do that to. And I remember coaching the girls with their boyfriends and stuff.
Me too. Boys with their girlfriends.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange?
I know, it really is.
I mean, a coincidence that you and I did the same thing. Greg, did you do that when you were a kid? Greg?
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah, I did that now.
You're whispering.
I don't want to echo too much. Okay? All right. I like it more. I was very aware as a kid. I started telling training that I didn't talk that much, but I certainly observed, and I was always trying to find the situation, see what was going on, what I could do to remedy it. So very much pointed towards being not true things.
Ross, what about you? I don't think Ross knows I just said something to her.
Ross, can you hear it?
Very little. Very low. I hear you well, but I can't hear Bayer.
I think maybe Byron turned down his microphone or something.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
I guess you have to have speakers high for the video.
There is a terrible screeching sound.
Ross,
Can you
I'm
hear
asking
that?
Ross, I'm asking you if you used to coach your friends when you were a kid. Like Barb was just talking about. Did
Oh,
you
excuse me. I couldn't listen because there was a screeching
Did you
sound.
do that?
To coach a friend when I was a child.
Lower your camera, Ross.
Yes? Okay?
Yeah, did you used to do what Barb was saying she did?
No.
Well, let me ask you then. You've had several people come to you from the web, right, and ask you to help them.
Yeah.
Why do you help them?
Well, first of all, because I like sharing. And I may sound like Alice in Wonderland, but I like to think that one day, maybe not even in this life, I can live in a world where people help each other, and it's a nice world, you know, without violence, with good feelings, where it's nice to live.
And so you
And
mean
where there is no disease.
so you mean you're living, you've chosen to live that way now.
Yes, I try. If I can change one person to people, 10 people, and if every one of us can do that, it's a good result.
Well, you've changed yourself.
Yes,
Like you've turned yourself into somebody who lives in this world where people help each other.
yes,
Because like in your world, people help each other, right?
yes.
So would you say you're doing it for you or for them?
But,
So both.
absolutely.
So, Barb, what would you say? Is it you do it for you or for them?
I guess I could honestly say it's for me, but I mean, I do it. I mean, you know, like when we talk about that, the real clients or the real people we need to reach are the ones that, you know, are like, we don't really even see that they're in their homes, or they're the ones that, you know, are really suffering or don't feel it. But I tend to interact with the ones I bump into, or the ones that call me.
Right.
And I do it for them. I'm sort of doing it for them, but it would be, I wouldn't feel good if I just hung up or didn't answer the phone or didn't help at all. I mean, I know I have a skill and I know what it feels like to be in trouble. And I've never been a person who really reached out very easily, so I suffer a lot. But why do I do it? I don't know, it just feels like the natural thing to do. Like back in those days, I remember it just felt like the thing I was supposed to do. I guess it's for me. I mean, it just felt like, I mean, if it was really for them, I realize today I'd be packing this room with people, because people need support, no doubt. But I just feel like I do enough for myself, just so I feel like I did enough for me for the day, or enough.
I get it.
You know what I mean? It's like picking up litter. Whatever I see, I do it. But if I don't
So
see
you
it, I
mean
don't
what
do
you're
it.
saying is like if you shifted over to really caring about other people, you would pack
Yeah.
the room. Okay.
Yeah, like really being willing to be uncomfortable and push through to get more people involved, and giving them the help they need, and not having it be about me. Like if I had the room packed and had them even be in groups of 3, you know, they would help each other. I see it in action, and then I realize that, you know, it's always easier with another person or two. People can help each other. It's just our nature. You know, like I spend a lot of time alone, and just any old person makes a difference. You know, like having a dog or a cat. When you have another person around you, especially with a third person or a coach, you can always get some more higher, some more clear.
Do you happen to remember me telling you about a 16-year-old kid who called me, and Greg and I did the outline with him like 2 weeks ago or so?
I think so, yeah.
Well, he called me back like on Monday, well, or on the 19th he called me, and I didn't have time to talk to him until last night, but last night I called him, and I asked him if he was on Twitter, and he was following us. He was following the Cure Drive on Twitter, because I told him to. That was where we left him, to go to Twitter and follow the Cure Drive, and he'd been following it since then. And you know, where you see that tweet, a guy named Christopher wrote, "I'm trying to find my signal."
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's him.
Oh, cool.
Because last night I talked to him, and I connected him to, you know, the A-list and to us. So now you can click and follow him, and see, you know, you'll be connected to him. Now he's a variation on the outline because, like, I haven't asked him to contribute anything, and I've spoken to him twice, but my conversations were shorter. Like, I didn't do the whole outline. I got to the Twitter point, left him, then came back, and last night when I was with him, I was at the Twitter point, and I asked him to read a whole bunch of tweets, and I sat there while he read some. And then I told him to pick one that jumped out at him and respond to it. And he did that.
Cool.
And I discovered something about them. He may have been following us, but he never would have tweeted unless I told him to.
Yeah.
Like in many mailing lists, there are lurkers. They read, but they don't write.
Thank you, Ross. That's absolutely right. I want to say you're psychic because I was thinking about you right at that moment and wanted to ask you about that, and you just told me without my needing to ask you.
Wonderful. But I have a question instead. You said you put the guy, Christopher, on the A-list. How did you do that? Because I'd like to put an Italian guy on the A-list. He's not very good at computer.
I have to do that because I own the list.
Ah, okay.
So, but if the guy tweets to us,
To the Pure Drive.
he's in the Cure Drive, right?
Okay, okay.
What's the guy's name that you want?
Let me see, because I never remember. Sandro. I will write it to you by, because I don't remember the surname. I will write it on
What do I look
wall.
for? Hey, what do I look for in Twitter?
I don't know what he used to sign in on Twitter. Probably
he's following.
Sandro Siccardi. And his image is a penguin.
Bruno, right? Bruno, his name's Bruno, right?
No, Sandro. I'll tell you in a minute. I'm going on Facebook so I can tell you.
Why don't you retweet one of his tweets?
Because I think
Ross?
I didn't see his tweet.
Okay.
So I think something went wrong.
Tell you what. Listen carefully.
Yes. Well, give me just a minute. I'll tell you.
No, don't do anything. Stop doing that.
Okay.
Stop doing that and listen to what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
I'm only going to connect with people after they tweet.
Yes.
Have him retweet his tweet, and I believe it will go to the A-list if you retweet it.
Oh, okay.
It will.
I will tell him.
Okay,
I will
sweetie?
tell him.
Ross, listen to me.
Yes.
Don't work on the computer now. Sit back, relax, take a deep breath, and listen to every word that I say to you. Okay. Now, I'm going to load the outline. It's going to take me a second. And the outline says, have the guy read tweets and then tweet. Did you do this with him when you talked to him?
I did. Yes, I did, but he doesn't understand a word of English.
Okay.
And
So listen to me again, okay? I'm asking you a question. Okay,
Yes.
so you're saying that he can't tweet in English.
No.
But he could say ciao in Italian and send a tweet.
He did. He did. He told me he did. We did it together. But when I looked at the A-list, I didn't see his tweet. So something
No,
went
Ross,
wrong.
Ross. No, you're supposed to be following him,
I was.
and then you see his tweet. It won't go to the A-list until you retweet it.
I didn't see it on my tweet.
Yeah, you have to be following him to see it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Now I understand it's my mistake.
Yeah, it's your mistake. He tweets, you follow him. First you follow him, then you tell him to tweet.
Okay.
You see his tweet.
Okay.
I should
Now I
probably
can.
write this in as a strategy point.
Okay. Listen, Bayard, his name is.
Don't tell me his name. Stop.
Okay.
Don't
okay.
tell me his
Don't
name.
frighten me. Yes.
Sit back, relax. I don't need anything. I'm okay.
Okay.
Don't work on the computer. Don't do anything. Just be here. Be with a capital B, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to write myself a note.
Okay.
Click to follow him, then ask him to tweet. Then
Okay.
retweet his tweet so it goes to the A-list. And he
Okay.
can be added to the A-list and communicated with. All right, that's my note to myself, which I just dictated.
Okay.
That's how fast it is for me with my voice recognition.
Okay. Thank you.
Now that's going to be part of the outline later. Right now it's
Yes.
just a comment,
Yes.
but it's going to be part of the outline.
Okay.
Now, Barb, Ross, Greg, and Frank, I want you to picture yourself, you're standing on the deck of a cruise ship, you're in the ocean. Barb, you're standing at the railing of a cruise ship and you're looking out over the ocean, okay?
Yeah, cool. Okay.
And this is a very nice cruise ship, and there's a party going on in the ballroom behind you, okay? You with me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And you're on the cruise ship, you're standing on the deck, you're holding onto the railing, you're looking out over the ocean. And there's somebody in the ocean drowning.
I throw Greg in.
Throw the Mai Tai. Throw the Mai Tai.
I throw Greg over there because he's the best swimmer. Go get him, Greg.
Great.
Just kidding.
Now,
Call 911.
this is what it would be to care about people who don't have the ability we have.
You have a password.
It would feel like that. You with me?
Yeah, that's what it feels like sometimes. Like for the longest time, I would be the one going in there because I think I had a past life where I left like a colleague, but like in a war environment where I had to go back to get someone.
Uh-huh.
But I would go in there, you know, and get myself hurt or something. Would go out of my range. Like I wouldn't think before I helped the person or be discerning.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so tell me the question. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're doing fine. The
Yeah,
trick,
'cause I
the
mean, I
trick
know
with this is
face to
knowing
face
how
with-
much the person needs you. Like, let me ask Greg with the echo. Did Nancy seem that way to you? I can't hear you.
Okay, speak louder now.
Yeah.
Um, Nancy has the urge to help people. She doesn't know what to do. But she steps forward and she does what she can do.
I'm asking about you, not about Nancy. It was not a question about Nancy. When you looked at Nancy, did you feel that level of compassion that I'm talking about?
Did you hear that, Greg?
Or Desi, or any of your other friends? Do you ever feel that level of compassion?
I can't feel anything.
What, Greg?
I do.
Okay.
And then I see whether they respond. Maybe I don't go all out. That's true.
We're going to have to figure out if there's some way you can do this meeting from upstairs in one of the rooms or something so that there's no echo.
I should be able to go in the bedroom.
We're not going to do that now. Oh yeah, why don't you do that?
I can do that now.
Stay on the video, go on mute, and go on the house phone. Besides, I'm done with you for right now anyway. You've said what I wanted to hear. Okay. The whole trick of this is understanding just how much you are needed, Barb.
Yeah. I forget that yeah. Okay.
Now, before we go on, I have to tell you and everybody, I really need to apologize to you for what happened on Friday of last week.
It wasn't really your fault. It was just a bad combination of everything.
Oh, it was totally my fault.
Probably I had a switch point too.
It was totally my fault. And you know what happened?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize what I did until this morning. I turned on the movie and watched myself. And I was like shocked to see. Basically, what happened, I manipulated you into feeling bad. Like if you look at that interaction, at the beginning of the interaction, you were fine. You were sharing about, how you was helping this woman,
Yeah.
And I turned this thing, I just kept hitting you and hitting you. I was abusive.
I know.
I was
But but
negative.
I gotta find a way to not be vulnerable to that though, because underneath, a lot of times I do feel bad, so that's what you uncovered. And
Yeah,
I really
except
think
I sucked everybody in. Franny got sucked in. Everybody got sucked into what I was
let
doing.
it in, Barb. Let it in.
Everybody, I'm very sick. And I could fuck the Cure Drive up royally like this and probably already have.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was in like a pathological matrix of, immune dysfunctions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you couldn't stop.
I know.
It was an addiction.
It's like an addiction.
Dog fight.
Let me ask you, do you ever feel like you want to save me?
I feel like I can't, like I want to prove you right, prove who you are to people. Like I feel like I'm here because of you, like I'm supposed to make you win and have you prevail and show brilliance and that kind of stuff. Which might be proving myself too, but yeah, I mean,
Well, I think
sure.
that when I ask for change in people,
Mm-hmm.
I go into this dysfunction
Mm-hmm.
where I start to feel like my life is going to be threatened or
Huh.
lost unless they change.
Interesting. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
I think there might be some truth to that, but
Why do you see that often in you? Usually, even a few minutes ago, when you got you raise your voice to Rosella. I know you want to reach Rosella, you want to be emphatic and all. Yes,
get your mic closer to your mouth or something, Greg, because I can't hear you.
They have to turn the volume up, I don't know.
No.
That's better already.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize. So, you know, you went into some sort of dysfunction at the same time you were imparting the content of what you were saying to Rosella. You know, don't tell me his name!
Yeah. Oh, you just reminded me of something too. Like this happened to me last night. See, like remember that one scene in Pulp Fiction where Samuel L. Jackson shoots those kids? He goes in there when they're having their big match and stuff.
Yes, right, big man.
He kind of misquotes the Bible, but he says that thing about putting the, you know, like I will rain my whatever upon you, you know?
Yeah.
And like that comes out of me sometimes. Like last night, you're just reminding me, like for no apparent reason. I mean, there's a good reason, but like I'll just start kind of railing on people, like especially people who I think are not playing up to their level. Like there's this man in town. He's like, you've met him. Actually, he talks about you. He goes, I met Glard. Remember you met him once at in Budo Station, Resi.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's like from the Mideast, and he's a Tai Chi master and a Shiatsu master, and just very, you know, he actually designed the original heart pacemaker, and you know, he's an interesting person. But he's like doesn't he doesn't do music on himself, you know, like and then there'll be times I just get angry at these people. I just get like, come on, you know, like it comes out of me like I'm impatient, I'm angry, I want him to move faster, I want him to be, you know, like, where are you? I need you, you know, like you're one of my people. I know he's one of my people from wherever, and he's been there for me in some ways, but now it's like he's one of the people I have to walk right by sometimes. I can't, you know, and I'm like, where's my troops? Where's my flankers? And that's a problem for me, though, because then I look desperate, or I look unstable, or, you know, I come off like what you were doing with Rosella before. I mean, like I don't know where that comes from. I surprise myself that I'm that short-tempered sometimes.
Well, it's obvious to me from this conversation that everybody here sees me doing this and knows there's something wrong with me.
Well, we're kind of used to it. I think part of it, I mean, in my case, sometimes I thought, well, the test is for me to be able to let you be that way with me not reacting, like, you know, getting out of the way. But that's not enough to really have you see yourself, I don't think.
I know. See, the thing is that I'm not in this right now. And when I was talking to Ross before, I sounded like the same, but it wasn't what I did with you at all.
That's true.
And
that was different.
see, if people called me on it when I was doing it, then they would be able to tell the difference between when I sound like I'm doing it and when I'm actually doing it.
Well, that's what was kind of upsetting to me, because I thought that I was kind of asking for everybody else to kind of chime in, but nobody did. And it was almost felt like...
Oh, they chimed in. I was listening to this thing.
But they didn't chime in to sort of like back you off.
I know. They all bought it.
It's like they jumped on me.
They all bought it. It was... That's what really scared me when I was listening to this thing.
I didn't tweet, I didn't anything for like a week. I was like, whoa, what was that? What am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm in like enemy territory. And I was like, thank God for the internet that I have this distance. That's what I think is so cool about the internet. Like, I'd rather have these arguments over the internet than in person.
Well, yeah.
People, you know, you learn this defense mechanism. But yeah, that made me take pause. It was, now that I didn't really realize till you just said that why I was that shook up. Sorry, Barb.
Yeah, you got fucking assaulted. I really assaulted you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm apologizing, and all I can say to everybody is like watch me, and if you think like if this goes on for a prolonged period and the other person is having a bad reaction, it's time to mention something to me about how maybe I'm doing something that they might be reacting to.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I
Because you
said
notice
that we
Ross
got
did not
higher
react to me. Like when I did that, she was laughing.
Who was?
See? Ross, because I wasn't doing it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you weren't really doing it.
I didn't
then.
You
suck.
were attacking her personally.
Yeah, I didn't suck Ross into anything. If I did, she would probably have felt like Barb felt, you know? And the thing is, see, I think I'm very good at this dysfunctional behavior. It's like what I do best.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because it would be nice to be good at a functional behavior like running the outline. You know?
So what is it?
Well, I think this is a big, I think this is a big breakthrough, and I really appreciate you, and, you know, I think, Barbara, I'm sorry that I didn't see it. I mean, to try to tell buyers, but I didn't see it that time.
So that's the symptom and that's the behavior, but I've not really heard what has changed or what's new. But if you cured this,
Maybe nothing
Or
has
you're on the
changed and I
way.
haven't cured it. Have you ever think of that?
I have. That's why I'm asking.
Uh-oh.
I would
That's
say that it
exactly
would
why
be
I'm
probably the appropriate thing for you to assume is that nothing has changed and that I am not cured.
I know, and that's why I'm asking, so that you can have your attention on curing it and not just reporting these things.
My attention is about as on curing it as it's going to get right now, I'd say.
Yeah, I know you're leading the meeting.
No, I mean, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is about as you know, as good as I can do, as far
I don't
as
think
curing
so.
it goes.
I think you have to cure that too. I don't get it. If you're really curing it, you're curing it.
You know what? Like
What do
you
you want
can't
to
like
become
manage somebody
so that
else's
it's
cure,
dangerous?
Greg.
I'm not managing, I'm just not buying it.
Okay, well, all right.
You can say whatever you want. I'm going to say what I want.
And you
What do
can.
you
That's
recommend that he?
fine.
What do you recommend that he do to demonstrate that he's curing it? I mean, how would you know?
Well, I would say start curing it. Whatever you do, start curing it. You talk about this and you teach it. Don't leave it to me to tell you what to do. So, I mean,
Well, we go and we test what dysfunction or whatever it is, and then, you know, you go see if you had a trauma that caused it. We do all these normal things. That's how we.
Let me throw a question back at you then.
He was a part of.
I want everybody to tell me.
Buyer started curing it, talking about it and apologizing.
Yeah, that's true. I want everybody to tell me which skill is relevant to this particular thing that I'm sharing about. Like, which skill should I work, in other words, you know, to cure this? Like, after the meeting is over. What?
The three pathologies, condition, deformity, and what was the other one?
Okay, so you say that one, the last three
I
pathologies.
can't go on right now because I was looking at it.
Okay. And anybody else have any other ideas?
I agree with Greg.
Okay.
Functions or something. What did you Greg say?
All right. Well, then that's the skill I'll go into to work on it.
I said skill 9, the 3
The 10.
pathology.
Now, one thing I wanted to mention is there's a skill called Unravel the Pathological Matrix.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
That's what I got. Relationship inability.
Well, probably I should do the one you recommended first, but I just want to say something. That as far as unraveling this particular pathological matrix, the thing that I did that seemed to be the step forward was in realizing that maybe I'm soliciting people saving me with this behavior, or not with this behavior. Maybe this behavior is a symptom of me soliciting being saved by people.
Well, that makes sense because you used to want you had therapy so that you used to tell me that you did therapy on me so I could heal you.
Yeah, right.
You did therapy on me.
I mean, that's actually a healthy thing. You know, it's like what Ross is talking about helping people so that she'll live in a world where people get help and she can get help. And that's all good, you know?
Right.
But the thing is, I'm driven by this, like, probably terror that's subliminal, you know, that I don't feel, but I'm acting on it. And that's the, you know, like the person has to be good enough right now or I'm going to die. You know, because like Barb, to go back to what I did with you, like the truth.
That's true. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
It had to be
I know.
absolutely perfect or you're going to die.
Because the truth is, you're a Cure team member who went and ran the outline with somebody, and you learned some things, and you did what you did, and that was it. It was a good share, and it was time to go on with the meeting. You know, I wasn't supposed to be doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, I should have
totally.
just, you know, said, "Hey, great," you know.
Yeah, because like it had the negative effect. It's like all week I didn't teach one person, and I didn't do much. Like the one thing I was kind of like on down about even playing anymore.
So I wrecked the Cure drive for a week. I'm serious. That's what I was thinking, was that this behavior that I do can wreck the Cure drive. Who are you talking to?
Meredith Nesbitt wants her password back. I just instigated it, so she re-signs up. I guess she's connected. Sorry. Okay.
Can Greg see that?
I'll forward it to him.
Yeah, she's supposed to talk to him.
Let's posted a post of yours that got her thinking about things again, and then she wanted her password back.
You know, I must call her. Because
Yeah.
I do love old good old Meredith Nesbitt.
I know.
By the way, it's Nisbet, actually.
I know, actually, I just noticed that myself.
Okay, back to
our pathologies.
okay. Does anybody
So-
see anything that should be added to or removed from the outline?
I have something, sort of.
What?
Well, seems like the outline is like for people who call in off of the website and stuff. And when you're with someone just cold, or with somebody on the street or at a party or something, like again, like with the chocolate, usually you say, "Oh, you like chocolate?" You know, there's something that you say to someone, or you know, like, "Oh yeah, I do." Like, did you know that there's a better chocolate? There's raw chocolate instead of cooked, and they're like, "Oh boy." But you know, with this, it's like, you know, we say, "Well, do you want to learn something?" It just comes off that fast. And sometimes I'll say, "You want to learn something that might save your life or cause you never to get sick another day in your life." That's enough. Seems like there's got to be a nice, entry. Like there's got to be a reason the person is going to pay attention or see it's valuable.
Sure.
When they call in off the website and they're sick, then you know there you go right there. But if you're just with somebody who is just standing there, you know, they don't know they have anything to share. Sometimes it comes up in the context of conversation, but like, what's the point? I mean, I walked by a lot of people this week where I thought, oh, well, what's the point? You know, why would I want to stop them? And I met people that I didn't teach them how to test and stuff
All
like
right,
that.
let's test it out. All right, why don't you be the kind of person that you're talking about, and I'll be you.
Yeah, like they're
Just make up a name.
I'll be
An imaginary name, no problem.
Francoise.
All right.
Female.
And so a female, okay. And so we're standing on the corner talking. How about, or in a, like under a tree or something?
Okay.
Or in a coffee shop, or where do you want to be?
I'm at the, like, sort of like a reception of a, like in the lobby of something where she is.
Okay. So be her and say what she might be saying.
So, how you doing? What's going on? What are you up to?
I'll tell you what I'm up to. You want to learn something?
Okay.
I'm not going to be able to do the whole thing with you right here and now, but you can get an idea, right?
Well, what's it for?
Do this.
Okay.
Ask a question, look for a signal. See my finger? That's my signal. See what that looks like? That's my signal. And the question is, can I cure things? Ask that question and see if an involuntary movement happens in one of your hands. Go ahead.
Just ask the question of out loud or something of who?
Ask, just think it. Ask the question.
Okay, can I cure things?
And see if a booming, okay, you got a
Yeah,
signal.
my finger moves actually.
Okay, great. Now test this question. That's called testing, what you just did. So you can cure it. That means you can cure things. Congratulations.
Oh, that's cool.
Now test, can I kill a virus?
Moves again.
That means you never have to be sick another day in your life. Test this question, can I handle any negative emotions with this? Got a yes? Do I have any toxic emotions affecting me now?
Yes.
All right. Test this. Have I cured anything since I started doing this a minute ago? You got a signal, didn't you?
Yeah. Totally different. Yeah.
That's how fast it is. Do you feel any different?
Yeah, I do. A little higher, lighter.
So now you know what I'm up to.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're not in the middle of a reception, we're going to make a mental note to pursue this, okay?
Okay. All right, nice.
Cut. That's it, baby.
Sounds good.
Now, one thing I want to mention to you. I'm very skittish about time. Because soon as you get into like this heavy-duty clinch with somebody, all of a sudden there's an interruption. It never fails.
Yeah.
So what I do is I run for my life before that point comes. So that's why were I out somewhere in the middle of those places, I would either run or I would do this. And I'll tell you the other thing you could do, which is, let's go back to the role play, you're her. All right?
Okay.
And we're right at that point where she discovered all those things. All right, look. We're standing here in the middle of all these people. Do you want to go on with this? If so, we should go over there and sit down, or just make a mental note to get into this like some other time.
There's more we can do.
Either one. I'm open because I got nothing to do with this reception, and maybe you do.
That got me interested. I mean, let's do it more. What's next?
All right, but we got to go. We sit down over there where we won't be disturbed. Okay.
Okay.
Cut. So that's the way you do it. As far as introducing people to it,
Actually, that's good. I'd like to cut the physically change positions or cut the outline into sections because I can see easily when you're sitting down to start talking about contribution and stuff like that.
yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, I gotta get organized here. I need to get with Michael and stuff, and I need a local partner with this. I do. Michael's into it because he just lost his job too. I gotta do something. I need some to have like something I give them. I do have to have an event. I know you think that's putting another thing in the way.
Can
but
you
just-
see Michael as a coach of this?
Yeah, actually, he's good. I went to some nonviolent communications courses with him. He's very good with people, really.
Good team, be good to have.
He would love it, and plus he's a computer programmer. Like the other day, yesterday, I was sitting there, and we were filling down, and Michael's like, "What should we do?" And he goes, "Wait a minute, let's just remove the idea that we have to do something." And he made himself feel better, like he totally got it. And then he
Well
got up and started
done.
doing things. Yeah, yeah.
Well done.
You know, he gets it like the way more people. I don't get it that way. People get it that way because he has no worries except for when he has a worry. You know, like he doesn't have any real worries. He just has things come in his mind, and then he can remove them and get on with his life. And so it's really cool. Yeah, that. But I think he would have fun with it because he actually loves to help people, and he lights up when he does. And he feels like he's made an impact.
Well, you can be his coach,
Uh huh.
and he can learn to coach and also
Yeah.
do it. And I bet he knows tons of people who can plunk
Yeah.
down $6,300.
Right, that's true.
He probably has a big, big pool of people to fish in.
Maybe, yeah. Knows a
Can I,
lot.
can I comment on what you did by Eric?
Sure, Rose, go ahead.
You changed a bit the outline, talking about toxic emotions and other small things. You told me to never change the outline.
Yeah, but see, that is the outline. Because the outline, really, those questions in the outline are just samples. It's not, the outline is not a script. It is not a script.
Yes?
It is an outline.
So can you change it or not?
No,
According to-
don't change it.
Okay.
Don't change it. And realize these questions are sample questions.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Their sample questions are given. There are thousands of questions you can ask. And that is not changing the outline. That is the outline.
Okay.
Like, come up with questions that are the relevant questions to the person you're talking to.
Sure.
Okay, now, Franny has been talking about manifesting. You know, and you manifest by not doing anything. You just be. And you attract. So the
Well,
idea...
one thing you do have to do is you have to be very clear in order to, like, if you're trying to manifest something in particular or get a result, you have to be, like, super clear about where you are and what you want to have happen.
But you also have to be unattached to the form that might manifest.
That's right. Completely unattached.
I mean, 'cause it might come in a different way than you imagined, you know.
Exactly.
A different person or a different situation than you imagined. I'm like so good at manifesting little things. Nice, Greg. That was good. But how did I manifest that? But
Did you say you're good at manifesting small things?
yeah, I mean, like every day, like I'm good at manifesting things going my way for the day and going, you know, or like if I say I have something to accomplish, I've gotten really good at just laying in bed and seeing the day how I want it to unfold, and then getting the results and. You know,
Well,
having-
I'll tell you what, I just realized how you can manifest $1 million.
Let's hear it.
Wow.
You do it by making it a small thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
When $1
That's
million
actually-
is a small thing, you'll manifest $1 million.
That's true.
I saw that this morning lying in bed. I felt and do feel so whole and able that when I extend my vision out to anything, I literally feel I can do anything. I can
Yeah.
relate to any situation, learn anything, ask for anything.
No, I can see that in you. Yeah, I can see that in you.
And,
Yeah, like sometimes I think, like when you think, like time and space, like when I think of what I did during the day or where I went, like I can't believe how far my body goes and what kind of things I get, but and who I run into and how like all those encounters, if I would
You've
just
always
be,
been you're brilliant. You're a brilliant woman. You have such ability.
well, it's just a gift. I have to like really get beyond
Good.
the sixth dimension now. I have to get, see a bigger thing, take it all to the next level.
But yeah, but be wary that when you say these things that you don't reinforce it.
Yeah, I mean, but like sometimes my goal will be
Like just when you think of that, you say, oh, but there's this and this and this.
well,
Say,
yeah.
oh, there's something to clear up. It's that thought, the thought things that you do. Not necessarily that it's real, but you can make things real. So watch out. You know.
Well, I'll tell you what Franny was saying about, like she was talking about how she manifested like the big jobs and the big money and all the stuff. And what she was saying was that she did it by doing a good job. And, you know, I was just thinking a minute ago, like, why, I realize now why we haven't had an outline for the last 20 years. Well, we've been doing this whole time without this outline. And the reason is that I had this other dysfunctional behavior, and that's what I thought people were supposed to do to get the result. I thought, like what I did with Barb last Friday, I thought you were all supposed to be doing that with people. I didn't really, I didn't consciously think that, but that is where I was. That's where my head was. And I kept trying to push you in that direction, and actually I had some success. Like I manipulated you into behaving like in that same dysfunctional way. Although I have to say, Greg, you were very functional, and I was listening to you when you were talking with Barb, you know, in the meeting last week, and you were very functional. You know, the problem was that you were, you know, you were supporting my dysfunction at the time without realizing it.
Yeah.
Like the underlying beautiful of that,
My only comment was that was not was when I was, and it was trying to be gracious towards you, Bart, actually, it's just my MO, was when I said link our higher bodies. I was basically saying something's going wrong here.
Yeah, well.
So this is true, and I apologize.
But we have just been so like ruthlessly like transparent, showing ourselves like this is just unbelievable, and what other people anywhere do what we've been doing. You know, it's like I don't know if it's good or bad, but like we are so transparent. I mean, it's
True.
like, you know, and I think, and sometimes I don't know how to undo it. Like in the first, I keep thinking the first thing people see when they see me, rather than somebody who's is like somebody who wants something, somebody who needs something, somebody who's short of something or going for something. It's never somebody who's like whole and got everything they need. I mean, not never, but you know, not often enough. And some of it because of how I've been portrayed, you know, how I've shown myself in these things. Or
You know, funny thing, you're reminding me of something Malcolm Gladwell said. Malcolm Gladwell was writing, you know, that Cesar guy who's the dog whisperer?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like people would always ask, like, what does, when he looks at a dog, he sees something different than other people when they look at a dog. So
Yeah.
like, what does he see when he looks at a dog? But Malcolm Gladwell was saying, well, actually, the real question is, what does the dog see when the dog looks at him?
Yeah, right.
And so Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called What the Dog Saw.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. It's like when the person is drowning and they're in the ocean and they look up at the cruise ship and they see you at the railing, what do they see?
That's true. True. This person.
Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I'd rather be Leo in that situation. Remember the kid from Wisconsin? Yeah, what did they see? No, I don't. You mean what the drowning person sees?
Well, you know the role play we just did? Like when that woman tested that she had toxic emotions to deal with,
Yeah.
when she was looking at you, what did she see? Did she see a needy, incomplete person? Or
No.
did she see you? Did she see somebody standing on the deck of a cruise ship who could throw her a life preserver?
Yeah, she saw a place where she could get rid of that stuff. Mm-hmm.
So there's your answer.
That's
Don't-
the part I forget. Yeah, okay.
Do not talk about immunics with people.
I always remember Paul Richardson, because Paul Richardson used to always say, remember where you came from. And
Yeah.
I was walking around yesterday, I was remembering, like sometimes when I think back on, like, way when I first started doing this stuff, and, you know, like my goals for how I wanted to be, and people who were like my role models that I saw, and how I remember what that feeling was to be on the others, you know, that person with the toxic emotions and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even I still am that sometimes. Then I remember, you know, the value. Otherwise, it, you know, just feels like I have something like that. Nobody knows what it is, and nobody knows what they need it. You know, like I don't know.
Well, you know what? If you think about last Friday in this context,
Yeah.
like you may have had some toxic emotions during that meeting, but for sure you were not looking at me and seeing a guy sitting on a cruise ship.
No.
No, you were looking at me and seeing something very, very wrong, and you didn't quite know how to talk about it.
Yeah, it was like an irritant. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was something like wrong going on over there. Like I wasn't anybody who you could throw you a life preserver.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've done that with people too. That's why this is a really, it does take skill to do this too. You have to be really unattached with people. Just,
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is classic. I think sometimes, there's so many ways that's why I do this other than other things, because it does take that skill. Marianne Lanes had said something today on Twitter about that, like, you know, it's all about the person who's, you know, basically calm and clear, who can, no matter what you're saying, how brilliant it is, unless you're calm and clear, it doesn't land, which I've known for years.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I stopped doing a lot of things I used to do. Anyway, yeah, it's a skill. Who knows how this will end up? I mean, I get off. Sometimes people see my skill or offer me other jobs or other, you know, opportunities, or see that I would be good at something for them, or just want me around, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It would be better too.
Well, you know, I feel proud of you a lot, but the times that I feel the most proud of you is when you tell a story about asking for and getting money.
Mm.
And maybe that's because, well, you're leading all of us to have more money when
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah.
And also, maybe because I know that is the thing that may come the hardest for you sometimes, is doing that. And so when you do it and you win with it, I feel really great about it.
I have to always get to the point where I feel like I've given this person some value. I have to put up with that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, that goes back to the original question that I started with, like, why are you doing this? Like, we're doing it to give somebody some value.
that's for sure.
And, you know, when I think about that, the best way to give somebody value that I've always seen is just to do what we did in that role play. You just barrel right through. The person says, how you doing? How have you been? And you say, I'll show you.
Want to pray with me? Yeah, I know.
Ask this question. And bingo, that's it, you know. It's like, one picture is worth 1,000 words, you know. Because I mean, if you stand there and you start talking shit with them, you never get out of the mire. You know, the more banal you try to be, the more banal you are.
Yeah. I know, sometimes I skip a few steps, like last night somebody happened to be here that was with somebody else, and I knew them too, and I hadn't seen them for a while, and they're like, oh, how are you? And I'm like, so beautiful, what are you doing, and all that. And I speak as if it's already, I didn't stop and do the outline, I was like, oh, hearing things, you know, I act like it's already happening, and it's already, you know, I'm doing it online, and you know, doing it from here. I didn't stop and do it with them because I was just tired. I feel like it. You know, I have a judgment that the person's not the right person.
You know, when I called Chris last night, this kid, my mind was throwing up all kinds of things to do and say. And then I asked myself a simple question. Where are you in the outline with Chris? And I said, oh, wait a minute. I'm here. Like, I'm in the outline at the point, like, the last thing I did was I told him to get on Twitter. So now, if he's on Twitter, then I have to do that whole Twitter section with him. So that's where I am. I have to do the Twitter section now. And I was resisting calling him because I didn't want to spend too much time, and I was thinking, oh, he's going to call, he's going to ask me all these questions, he's going to want a free password, he's going to this and that, he's going to tell me all his troubles, and I don't have time for this. And then I realized I didn't listen to a word he said. I just cut right across it, and I said, you on Twitter? And he said, yeah, I followed you. And I said, oh, really? And I looked him up, and I had my hand held right in my hand. I said, oh, yeah, here you are. And I just took it from there. You know, he did what he was supposed to do, so he got rewarded. And then, here's something I did that, Ross, this might constitute a change in the outline, or it might not. I don't know. Maybe it's something that should go into the outline. After the person is on Twitter, if possible, maybe the person should be invited to the Monday meeting.
Okay.
Or...
Will you change it on the outline?
Or maybe the outline should just go on and do what it does. Let me see. I have the outline right here. So.
I just saw something really funny.
What?
Well, I have two things to say before the meeting ends that are related to the meeting, and I just saw something. unrelated. So I shouldn't
Go ahead,
say
tell us now.
Oh, yeah, like, you know those things that go around the internet that say, you know, keep calm and, you know, love and keep calm and all that stuff? Now there's one that says, I can't keep calm, I'm Greek. From my Greek relatives. Georgina has, you know, it's those posters that go around the internet, like Georgina has one that says, keep calm and love Georgina and keep calm and, you know, stay in love and stuff like that. But there's like this one now, it's in blue and white, like the Greek flag, and it comes from the Acropolis Greek
Oh, keep
tavern.
calm, I can't, I'm Greek. That's what you couldn't hear what it was.
I can't keep calm, I'm Greek. But also I got this other two things that before we end is, one, I was curious about that Dr. Oz thing and what happened with that. And number two is, what about if we did like a weekly meeting again where, you know, I could do it at a time where some of these people that can't make it on Mondays do it, where the meeting is purely for people to get their signal. And like basically I run the outline, but with whoever's new and needs to get a signal and just starting.
No, I think if they can't get a signal, they have to just get into some other thing. Like, somebody who can't get a signal, they can just come to the Monday meeting or something. But we're not going to do anything special for them. They're basically, we really can't help them if they can't get a signal. And it often means there's something very seriously wrong with them. And they may, I mean, if somebody can't get a signal and they really want to do this, they may need to pay $6,300 and just get coached for 3 months. You know?
Yes, so. You're reminding me of how important it is to stay connected, for us to stay connected all week, because, you know, then at least we're doing our part. Like, sometimes if I'm not keeping my signal intact, I'm not surprised other people aren't getting a signal.
That's very well said.
Sounds fair enough to me.
That's very well said.
Yeah, I haven't been irresponsible about that, because sometimes I realize that, you know, I'll scramble myself up and then I'd be surprised that other people can't get a signal. But if I'm really inside my connection, then at least I'm doing my part. And then, as Celeste would say, my side of the street is clean. And then people have some help to, you know, they have someone that's really helping them connect up rather than adding more disturbance.
You know, I realized something, Ross.
Yeah?
I did the outline wrong with Chris. I made a mistake.
Where?
Well, I changed the outline with him. I didn't do the Twitter thing totally properly, number one. Because I didn't really know how to do it. I hadn't worked it out. And then I invited him to the meeting, and I shouldn't have invited him to the meeting because the next thing in the outline is that he makes a contribution. Number 4, ask for a specific immediate support step. Will you support this? How can you support it? I didn't do that. I asked him. Asking him to the meeting was a cop-out. I had a mental block against asking for his support. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. So we don't change the outline and invite people to the prayer meeting?
No. No. That might be a good thing to put in somewhere else, but not
there.
Not here.
Not
and
there.
also, you know,
I usually invite people to the prayer meeting after I have completed the outline. I did so with Guru, for example. He didn't even answer.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do it with the other Indian guy, but I told him to read the 30 tweets and tell me when he had done it. Never heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
and then I did the outline with this Italian guy, and when we got to the point of donating, he told me he wanted to think about it because really he called me because he wants to help a woman who lives abroad and he's coming in a few weeks to Sardinia. And anyway, we met and we did the outline. And I told him quite clearly that he can't cure another person.
Right. Well, you know
The
what?
person.
When somebody says that they have to think about donating, it's time to break it off. You don't want to work with anybody like that.
Okay. Because I read on Twitter a tweet from you, and you say that we are going to do a role play about this.
And also, when you're working with somebody, you want to see them change
Yeah.
and feel different. And if that doesn't happen, they're probably not worth working with.
Okay.
Like if they're still talking about helping somebody else and it's all this intellectual academic conversation,
Yes.
just get away from the person. They're no good.
Okay.
All right. Most people are not worth working with.
Yes. I have another question. If I met other Italian people who don't know English, the videos are in English, and you told me that there is an option to have subtitles in other languages. I watched and I found that the only possibility is to have subtitles in English, not in Italian. That's a big problem.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
We talked about this.
They'll have to get a friend who speaks English to watch the movies with them or make some other arrangement. I don't know what to tell you.
It's a very big problem, especially for the first movie of the tutorial, which is 4 hours and a half.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I think you have more clients now. You have private tutoring in English.
yeah, you'll just have to tell them that.
You'll be their teacher.
It's,
Before they reach the point where they can understand the movie,
Yeah.
well,
it takes a
remember
while.
you're doing the outline and they're testing. So they start.
Yes.
They start testing with you, right?
Okay? But how can I ask to donate and subscribe to the website if all the videos are in English and they can't understand a thing?
Well, the text, there are translator programs in Google that translate the text into Italian.
Okay, it's okay for the text, but they need the videos. I think they need them very badly.
But if they can't have them and all they can have, you know, when we started doing this, there were no videos, there were just text. And people did use the text.
And audios. Because I remember when I started,
No, when we started, there were no audios or videos,
okay,
just text.
okay. Mhm.
And people used to
Okay.
pay $300 for just for the text.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking perhaps you can work out, maybe you would be teaching more, translating more, but this could be a source of income for you if, they're willing to do that. And there's
Yeah, you
no
could
way
just-
right
But
now.
again, there again, Greg, to arrive to the point of understanding a video in English, it takes years of lessons.
No, I don't mean just to teach them English. I mean,
Wait, stop.
never mind.
Okay, stop. Thank you. No, well, our meeting is over because it's a quarter of.
Okay.
And, but I will, so whoever needs to go can go. Barb, thank you for being with us. If you want to stay and listen to me talk with Ross for a moment, it's fine. But otherwise, I just want you to know that the meeting is officially over. What I would say, Ross, is just run the outline with the person and let
Okay.
them know what is that they can have they can join the web college and use the text with the translator, and they can also pay you to coach them if they want to. Once the outline is over, you're not supposed to really do that much else for free,
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay.
It's just their options are what they are. And they have the stronger they feel about it, the more likely it is that they'll do more with it. So see if you can create a strong bond during the outline.
Yeah, okay.
Just try to get them really to understand what they've got.
Yeah.
So that they will reach for it and do whatever it is they... See, you're not supposed to be figuring this out for them necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if you could, but if you can't or don't, then they have to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody has Graves' disease and he wants to cure it, and his doctor hasn't got a cure for it, so and then he gets a signal that he can cure it. He goes, "Oh my God, I got a signal. I can cure this." Well, then he's got to do whatever, and he's supposed to tell you how he solved the problem. See, you're trying to solve other people's problems for them.
Yes, you're right.
Test, is this one of my symptoms?
Yes, it is one of my symptoms. Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So let's not solve other people's problems unless we can, and then we will do what we can to solve people's problems. And then that's not I mean, if I've got the solution, like, you know, my neighbor came over here and he told me to put Epsom salts on my plants. I don't know if you use Epsom salts on your plants, do you?
No, I'm not very capable on plants.
I see. Well, anyway, but he walked across the street and told me to do it, and that was very nice of him, I think.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
He didn't have to spend his time that way. And that's what people do for each other. But if he didn't know anything I could do, you know, he probably wouldn't, like, try to, you know, figure out something for me. He'd leave the ball in my court, and maybe I could tell him something, see?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm talking about this too much. So, you know, it's nice that you see your symptoms so easily, and, you know, you're really a person who's really committed to changing and growing. I appreciate you, Ross.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you again. And it's a pleasure to be with you, even when you scream.
Thanks, Ross.
Ice cream, we all for ice cream.
That's good.
Oh, and if you put notes on movies that are in English, you should probably write somewhere on the note that you're in Italy, near Turin.
Okay.
You know, so because there are probably quite a few Italians who speak English, but they'd probably like to know somebody in Italy.
Yeah.
I get that all the time here. People say, "Do you know anybody in, you know, Wisconsin?" Or,
of course.
Okay.
of course we do.
Okay.
Well, everybody, good being with all of you.
Shall we link our bodies?
Let's link our bodies. I'm on the 144th dimension.
And me too. Cool.
Hey, get off of my cloud. Yeah, I'm up there too.
Rolling Stones.
Right. All right. Here we
Ciao
go.
a tutti ragazzi. Buona giornata.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato.
Oh my God.
Arigato.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Bye-bye.